Hello folks, it's me, Horace Levy, in the series What Jamaicans Want and What They Don't Want, What They Need. Now I'm going to be dealing with two particular companies, National Baking, Butch Hendrickson's, and JFP, of Metris Yaga and Stephen Sergani. Now I know most of you are not interested in Butch's Baking Company or Siaga Sergani's manufacturing company, but you are interested, I am very sure, in moving Jamaica forward. And if you are, then you've got to look at some of the nuts and bolts. What's really holding us back in terms of the government's performance, its policies. And National Baking is no small company. In 2022, its sales for that year were over $14 billion US, and its net profit was $10 million US. Not the size of an American company, but for Jamaica, substantial companies. In the last blog, I dealt with the three companies that had an agricultural basis. One of them, Grace Foods, is the largest food producer in Jamaica. Jamaican Teas, John Foods, doesn't have any other tea company in Jamaica of comparable size. And Howard Mitchell's Caribbean fragrances, is a good-sized company employing 27 people. And very good technology. So we've got to look at some of the nuts and bolts that Jamaica's production has to grapple with if we're going to move forward. How is the government dealing with these individual companies? So that's why I'm focusing today on National Baking. National Baking, its Kingston plant, employs 800 people plus seasonal workers, and it's no small company. It's highly its technology is of a very high class. What is its problem though? And it's similar to that of Seaga's and Sergani's. It's labor. It's the literacy of labor. Many of the workers are unable to grasp, to understand and grasp the directions given them by electronic equipment. You can't run a factory on that basis. So, but it doesn't stop there, you see. Why is the labor force at that level? And Butch, of course, a no-nonsense man, didn't just stop there. He was going to do something about it. So he traced it back to the poor education system at the very basic level, childhood. And at that level, there's tremendous deficiency. So what did he do? But he, voluntarily, out of the pocket of the company, set up a crayons count, little leaders component at a cost of several million dollars. He's contributed $1 million US a year to the University of the West Indies for training teachers. So, because that's what needed. And similarly, well, in the case of Seaga's company and Sergani's company, they've had some assistance from Heart NSTA, for the training of guys on the floor doing the cutting, the welding, the powdering, and so on, the manufacture of their things. But here again, you have a substantial company able to supply and compete successfully with U.S. companies to supply hotel rooms, the entire layout, and posh restaurants, the entire layout. And in an IPO, initial public offering, they were able to gather in some 270 million Jamaican dollars and get a comparable Exim Bank loan. And that's the kind of money that's enabled them to purchase last year, just before mid-year, a Vantage piece of equipment at a cost of US $100,000. The latest in equipment of that sort. They operate a 75 square foot plant, which is quite impressive. So these are not small patty shops, These are substantial plants that can benefit Jamaica immensely if they are given the help that they deserve and they need. And it's help in terms of the kind of policies coming out. For example, there's no policy guiding hoteliers, Spanish hoteliers coming in to buy locally manufactured furniture, beds, desks, chairs, and so on. And that's what's needed. So, you can see what I'm talking about. It's the need for policies. For example, the raw materials that Seaga's company needs. Presently, it has to import most of them. The acrylic, the fiberglass, and so on. The Korean stones, all of that, the acrylic, and some of the wood as well, because we don't have enough of that kind of wood that certain companies, a coffee company, for example, wants to use in its essential part of its decor. So, I mean, the one thing that company has been able to get is the drawing, designing, engineering, planning personnel who are graduates of UTEC. But on the floor, it needed the help of NSTA. So essentially, what we're talking about is policy that would incentivize local people to manufacture many of those things that Jamaica, former Jamaica fiberglass plant, presently imports. Some incentives to manufacture them here. It's only in this way that our manufacture, as well as our agriculture, can begin to cut down on its imports, its US dollar imports, and get out of the hole of annual deficits, substantial deficits, and begin to compete with other companies from overseas. So, but you have to have a government that shows an interest in manufacturing and wants to learn. As one cynic said to Butch, why don't you just open a factory in Miami and do your thing there, and then just add the tag "Made in Jamaica"? And Butch's and say yes, that's a real possibility. It takes patriotism not to do that and to manufacture actually in Jamaica. But it can be done with real policy from the government, which supports that kind of endeavor. But it's the only way to move out of our present low growth in manufacture. It's the industries, the ministries of agriculture and industry have to be really restructured. All right. I hope I've at least roused a little interest in the nuts and bolts of how to move Jamaica forward in production. Thanks for listening, watching. Do send your reactions back, your likes and your dislikes. Thanks. But we're going to be talking perhaps about more topics that perhaps are more popular and more appealing to most of you. Bye for now.